Hey, everybody, and welcome to this deep dive where we are going to be tackling something I think we all deal with every day at work and in our personal lives, that is problem solving.
Absolutely.
So we've got this research paper that really takes a deep look at how employees in organizations make decisions and solve problems. And
Yeah,
it's a pretty dense paper, but
Sure.
we're going to break it down into really usable pieces for you.
exactly.
So think of it as your secret weapon, your cheat sheet for when you have to give that big presentation to your boss about improving your team's problem-solving skills.
You're going to really impress them
Yes, you are.
with all this knowledge.
And you know what? We might even uncover some surprising facts along the way.
Yes.
Did you know that your unconscious mind is actually like this incredible problem-solving powerhouse?
It really is.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But first things first, we need to start with the basics.
Always good to start with the basics.
Always good to start with the basics. And this paper lays out some really fundamental phases of problem solving,
Yeah.
going all the way back to a researcher named Johnson in 1955.
Wow.
He identified 3 core phases: preparation,
Okay.
production,
Mm-hmm.
and judgment.
The building blocks.
The building blocks, exactly.
That's right.
So it's like building a house. You need that solid foundation.
Right.
You have to understand the problem.
Yeah.
Then come up with solutions.
Yeah.
And then make a judgment call
Decide on the best one. Exactly.
on the best one.
But it gets more interesting
Uh-huh.
because later research by Argyris and Schoen added a 4th phase
Ooh,
that often gets overlooked.
what is that?
Review and reflection.
Okay, now some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, I solve a problem and I move on.
Yeah. Why dwell in the past?
Why dwell?
Right.
But looking back and reflecting,
Yes.
really reflecting, is crucial.
Yeah.
So tell us, why is this reflection step so important?
It's all about learning. It's not just about learning from your mistakes. It's also about learning from your successes.
Interesting.
Think of it this way. Every problem that you solve is a chance to actually get better at solving problems.
Okay.
It's a chance to kind of refine your approach. So by taking the time to review what worked, what didn't work, and why you kind of build up this,
Like a library.
yes, this library of experience
Yeah.
that helps you tackle future challenges
Okay.
even more effectively.
So you're getting better and better every time.
It's continuous improvement
I like it.
in action.
So it's kind of like that saying, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again
Right.
and expecting different results.
Yeah, if it didn't work the first time and you do it again the same way,
Right.
you're probably not going to get a different result.
You're not going to magically get a different result
You got to change something.
unless you're extremely lucky.
Unless you're very lucky.
But let's get into some real-world examples. Because this research paper doesn't just talk theory.
No.
It takes us inside a multinational organization in Portugal to see how this problem-solving stuff plays out every day
I love that they actually
on the ground.
get in and look at a real company
Right.
instead of just talking about these things hypothetically.
Exactly. And one of the things they highlight is the difference between routine
Okay.
and non-routine problems.
I like that distinction.
So think about your own work.
Yeah.
What are some of those challenges that you face all the time?
Right.
Those are your routine problems.
Yeah.
You've encountered them before.
Right.
You know what to do.
Yeah, you kind of have a system.
It's almost like second nature.
Yeah.
Like responding to a common customer question
Yes.
or troubleshooting a familiar software glitch.
Exactly.
Those are the routine ones.
But then there are the non-routine problems.
Dun, 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 dun.
The ones that pop up unexpectedly.
Yeah.
That require you to think outside the box.
Okay.
Collaborate with others.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do some research. Gather some information.
Yeah.
These are the ones that really stretch your abilities.
And make you grow.
And make you grow.
I like that. So the routine problems are like hitting the gym
Okay.
and doing your usual workout.
Mm-hmm.
But the non-routine problems are like signing up for that crazy obstacle course race.
Ooh, yeah.
You're going to be challenged in ways you never expected.
I love that analogy.
And this research found that in this Portuguese company, employees had different levels of autonomy
Oh, interesting.
depending on the type of problem
Okay.
they were facing.
So it makes sense.
So if it was a routine issue,
Yeah.
they had more freedom to handle it on their own,
Yeah. Use their experience and judgment.
using their experience and
You
judgment.
don't want to be micromanaging your top performers
No,
when they're dealing with something they've handled 100 times before.
you want to let them do their thing.
Right.
But when those non-routine problems popped up,
Hmm.
things got a little more interesting,
Things got a little more collaborative.
more collaborative.
And here's a really cool detail.
What's that?
They had a database of past problems and solutions.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Like a knowledge management system.
Exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So when somebody encountered a new problem, They could search for similar cases and see how they are resolved in the past.
Like a cheat sheet.
It's like a cheat sheet for problem solving.
I love this.
But it's also a learning tool.
Right.
So newer employees can tap into the collective experience of the organization.
And get up to speed faster.
Exactly.
So they're not just solving problems.
Oh.
They're building this incredible repository
Yes.
of knowledge.
It's gold.
Yeah, I love this.
And if a problem was really complex
Okay.
and couldn't be solved at that initial level,
Mm-hmm.
they had a very clear escalation process.
Okay.
So it moved from the operator to the shift manager,
Okay.
and then if needed to specialized teams.
So you've got...
So the right people with the right expertise
Yeah.
are brought in at the right time.
So no problem is just stuck in limbo.
Right. Waiting for somebody to figure out what to do with it.
I'm already seeing how I can apply this to my own team. So it's about having clear structures and processes.
That's right.
But what's really fascinating to me is how this company went beyond just solving problems.
Yeah.
They were actively working to create a culture that fostered innovation
Yes.
and sustainable solutions.
Yeah, that's the next level.
That's the next level.
That's where you want to be.
You said earlier that the paper identified 3 key strategies
Mm-hmm.
for sustainable problem solving.
For sustainable problem solving.
Can you break those down for us?
Of course.
Okay.
The first one is about fostering an environment of open-mindedness and autonomy.
Okay.
They encouraged employees to share their knowledge freely, to be curious, and to really take ownership
Mm-hmm.
of the problem-solving process.
So it wasn't like a rigid
Yeah.
top-down approach
Not at all.
where everyone was afraid to speak up
Yeah, or challenge the status quo. Yeah.
or challenge the status quo.
They really wanted people to collaborate.
Okay.
And they empowered people.
So they created spaces where...
They created spaces where people from different departments, different levels of seniority,
Mm-hmm.
could all come together and brainstorm ideas.
So it's like cross-pollination
Exactly. Cross-pollination.
of ideas.
And they made sure that people felt safe
Yeah.
to take risks
Mm-hmm.
and to try new approaches.
Because they understood that
Innovation often comes from
unexpected places.
unexpected places.
So building a culture
Right.
where people feel safe to experiment.
Yes, to share their ideas
Yeah.
and to learn from their mistakes.
It sounds like a really cool place to work.
It does sound like a very cool place to work.
Yeah, so this leads us to the second strategy,
Okay.
focusing on the needs of the business.
Yeah.
It's great to be creative.
Yes.
It's great to be innovative,
Mm-hmm.
but you also need to be strategic.
Right. You got to make sure your problem-solving
Yeah.
efforts are actually aligned with the goals and objectives of the organization.
So you're not just out there randomly solving problems.
Exactly.
You're prioritizing
You're prioritizing the ones that are going to have
the ones that matter.
the biggest impact on the bottom line.
Okay.
So in this company, they actually had systems in place
Interesting.
to track and measure
Okay.
the impact of their problem-solving efforts.
So they were really measuring whether it was working or not.
They were asking themselves, is this solution actually moving us closer to our goals? Is it making a real difference?
So that's so important.
It is, because it's easy to get caught up
Right.
in that day-to-day firefighting
Right.
and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right.
But if you're not aligned with your strategic objectives, you're not really being effective.
No, you're just kind of spinning your wheels.
You're just kind of spinning your wheels.
Okay, so we've got open-mindedness and autonomy.
Yep.
We've got focusing on business needs.
Mm-hmm.
What's the third strategy?
The third strategy is about recognizing and leveraging what makes your organization unique.
Okay.
It's about identifying your strength, your differentiators,
Mm-hmm.
and using those to your advantage
Okay.
when you're tackling problems.
I like that.
Play to your strengths.
Play your strengths.
Find those innovative solutions
Yes.
that set you apart from the competition.
I love that.
What were some of the things that made this Portuguese company stand out?
Yeah, tell me.
Well, they had a really strong commitment to quality
Okay.
and customer satisfaction.
So it was ingrained in their culture.
It was ingrained in their culture. They were constantly looking for ways to exceed customer expectations,
Yeah.
to go above and beyond, to
Yeah.
build those lasting relationships.
So it wasn't just about solving internal problems.
No.
It was about using problem solving as a way to enhance their customer experience
That's right.
and build a strong reputation.
It's a smart strategy.
It is a smart strategy.
And they also had a highly skilled
Okay.
and motivated workforce,
Yeah.
which they invested in heavily.
Okay.
through training and development programs.
So their people were their greatest asset.
Their people were their greatest assets.
And they knew it.
And they knew it.
So they're creating this virtuous cycle.
Yes.
Where they're attracting and retaining top talent, investing in their development.
Yes.
And empowering them to solve problems.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive.
And they were also very adaptable.
Ooh, this is key.
And quick to embrace new technologies.
Absolutely, because the world's changing quickly.
Yeah.
And they needed to keep up.
They had that growth mindset.
Growth mindset.
We hear so much about.
We do hear a lot about it.
They weren't afraid to try new things.
Nope.
To experiment. To learn from their mistakes.
Exactly. Because mistakes, they're inevitable.
They're inevitable.
It's part of the process.
But that's not all.
There's one more thing.
One more thing.
One more crucial aspect to their success that we need to delve into.
Hit me with it.
Organizational mindfulness.
Okay, now when I first heard that term, I pictured everyone meditating in the boardroom.
I can see that.
But it sounds like it's something much deeper.
Yeah, it's not quite that literal.
Yeah.
But it is about awareness.
So tell me, what exactly is organizational mindfulness?
And how does it tie into all of this?
And we'll explore that in the next part of our deep dive.
Yes, we will stay tuned.
So stay tuned, folks. Welcome back, everyone. We were talking about that Portuguese company and how they had this really impressive system for capturing knowledge and making it available to everyone.
It's a great example of putting knowledge management into practice. You know, they didn't just solve problems and then move on.
Right.
They took the time to really document the entire process.
Yeah.
The challenges they faced, the solutions they came up with.
So it's like building this library.
Yes.
Of problem-solving wisdom.
Exactly.
That anyone in the company can tap into.
And the research really highlighted how valuable that was.
Yeah.
Especially for newer employees.
Oh, I bet.
You know, instead of having to reinvent the wheel every time they encountered a problem.
Right.
They could look back and see how others had tackled similar challenges.
And learn from their successes and mistakes.
Exactly. It's like having this built-in mentorship system.
Yeah.
Where the collective knowledge of the organization becomes this guide for everyone.
I love that. But let's get back to those 3 strategies for sustainable problem solving.
Yes.
We were talking about before the break.
Let's dive back in.
I'm really curious to hear more about how they actually implemented these strategies in practice.
Okay, so we were talking about open-mindedness and autonomy, right?
All right, creating that environment where people feel safe to share ideas and to experiment.
Exactly, and the researchers found that this company had a very deliberate approach to fostering this kind of environment.
So it wasn't just luck.
No, it wasn't just a happy accident.
They actually put systems and processes in place to encourage collaboration and to empower their employees. What did that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, one thing that stood out to me was their use of regular brainstorming sessions.
Okay.
They would bring together people from different departments, different levels of experience.
Cross-functional team.
Exactly. And they would use these sessions to really tackle specific challenges.
That makes a lot of sense if you want to come up with really creative solutions.
Yeah, you need to tap into all those diverse perspectives.
You need those different viewpoints.
And they did a great job of creating a safe and inclusive space where people felt comfortable sharing their ideas.
Even if those ideas were a little out there.
Even if they were a little unconventional.
Yeah, because sometimes the best solutions come from those unexpected places.
Exactly. They recognize that.
It reminds me of that Google initiative where they encourage their employees to spend 20% of their time on passion projects.
Sometimes those crazy ideas turn into something amazing.
Yeah, sometimes those crazy ideas turn into the next big thing. And in this company, they also placed a big emphasis on continuous learning and professional development.
Yes, they invested in their people.
They gave them opportunities to expand their skills and their knowledge.
And that not only benefited the individual employees,
right,
but it also made the organization as a whole better at problem solving.
So it was a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely.
Employees felt valued.
Yeah.
They felt supported in their growth. And the company reaped the benefits of their expanded skill set.
Everyone's happy.
And this open and collaborative culture that they created really set the stage for that second strategy.
Right.
Focusing on the needs of the business.
Yes. Making sure those problem-solving efforts are aligned with those big picture goals.
Exactly. So how did they make sure that was happening on a day-to-day basis?
Well, for starters, they had a very clear understanding of what their goals and objectives were.
Okay.
And they communicated those goals effectively.
Throughout the organization?
Throughout the entire organization. So everybody understood the big picture.
Everybody knew what they were working towards and why.
And how their work contributed to the bigger picture.
It's like that sense of shared purpose.
Exactly.
That alignment.
And they also had systems in place to track and measure the impact of their problem-solving efforts.
Okay, so they were holding themselves accountable?
They were constantly evaluating their progress and asking themselves, is this solution actually moving us closer to our goals?
Is this actually making a difference?
Are we making a real impact?
It's so important to have that feedback loop.
It is, because it's easy to get sidetracked.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of what really matters.
And if you're not aligned with your strategic goals, you're not going to be as effective.
You're just kind of spinning your wheels.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got open-mindedness and autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got focusing on business needs.
Yes.
Remind me, what was that third strategy again?
That third strategy is all about recognizing and leveraging what makes your organization unique.
Right. Playing to your strengths.
Exactly. Play to your strengths and use those strengths to find those innovative solutions that set you apart from the competition.
I love this one.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that made this Portuguese company stand out from the crowd?
Well, one thing that really impressed me was their unwavering focus on quality and customer satisfaction.
Okay.
It was truly ingrained in their culture.
So they weren't just solving problems, they were using problem solving as a way to differentiate themselves in the market.
Exactly. They were building a reputation for excellence.
And what about their employees?
They had a highly skilled and motivated workforce, and they invested heavily in their people.
So they understood that a company is only as good as its people.
Exactly. They knew that their employees were their biggest asset.
And they created this environment where people felt empowered to contribute, to innovate.
And to be part of something bigger than themselves.
That's so powerful.
And it's contagious.
What about technology? How did they approach that?
Oh, they were early adopters.
Okay.
They weren't afraid to embrace new technologies and to experiment with new ways of doing things.
So they had that agility, that adaptability that's so important in today's world.
Absolutely.
This company sounds like they had a lot of things going for them.
They did. They really did.
Is it realistic for other organizations to replicate their success? What are the key takeaways here?
That's a great question. And I think the biggest takeaway is that it's all about creating the right environment, the right mindset.
So you can't just copy their specific strategies.
Yeah.
You need to adapt those strategies to your own unique context.
Exactly.
You need to understand the underlying principles.
And build a culture that supports those principles.
So it's about fostering open communication,
Yes.
collaboration, and a commitment to continuous improvement.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, not a destination.
And every step you take in the right direction can make a big difference.
So it's about starting small, taking those first steps towards creating a more innovative and problem-solving oriented culture.
And being patient.
Yeah, these things take time.
But the rewards are definitely worth it.
Okay, I'm already starting to think about how I can apply these insights to my own team,
That's great.
to my own work.
That's what we like to hear.
But there's one more really important aspect of this company's success that I want to talk about.
Yes.
Something that really underpins all of those strategies we've been discussing.
It's that secret ingredient.
You're talking about organizational mindfulness.
I am.
We touched on it briefly before,
We did.
but now I'm ready to dive deep.
Let's go deeper.
What is it? How does it work?
I
How do we
bet.
cultivate it? Give me all the details.
All right, so imagine walking into an organization where everyone is incredibly attuned to what's happening around them.
Okay.
But not in a stressed or anxious way.
Okay.
It's more like this calm alertness,
Okay.
a receptiveness to new information.
Got it.
That's the essence of organizational mindfulness.
So it's like having a collective heightened awareness,
Yes.
but without the stress.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between being aware and being calm.
So how does that translate into better problem solving?
Well, when an organization is mindful,
Yeah.
it's able to respond to challenges and opportunities more effectively.
Because they're seeing those challenges and opportunities more clearly.
Exactly.
And they're able to respond more quickly and more strategically.
It's not just about reacting to problems that have already arisen.
Right.
It's about anticipating potential problems
Being proactive.
and preventing them from happening in the first place.
It's sounding better and better.
It is a powerful concept.
But how do you actually cultivate this organizational mindfulness thing?
It's not something you can just learn overnight or from a one-time workshop.
Right.
It's about embedding mindfulness principles
Okay.
into the very fabric of the organization.
So tell me about these principles.
Okay, so the research highlights 3 key principles of organizational mindfulness.
Give me the cheat sheet.
All right, the first principle is sensitivity to operations.
Okay.
And this means paying close attention to the details of how things actually work.
So not just relying on assumptions or outdated procedures.
Exactly. It's about being present in the moment, being observant, being curious.
Constantly looking for ways to refine and improve those processes.
Exactly.
And what's the second principle?
The second principle is commitment to resilience.
Okay.
And this is all about having systems in place to bounce back from setbacks.
So not letting those inevitable failures derail you.
It's about embracing failure as an opportunity for growth.
Having that growth mindset.
Exactly.
And what about the third principle?
The third principle is preoccupation with failure.
Now that sounds a little counterintuitive.
It does,
Yeah.
but it's actually about being proactive and anticipating potential problems.
Okay.
It's about constantly scanning the horizon for potential risks and vulnerabilities.
So you're not just waiting for problems to happen, you're actively looking for ways to prevent them. Okay, I'm starting to see how this could be incredibly valuable for any organization.
It is.
But is it realistic? Can every company achieve this level of organizational mindfulness?
I believe so. It's not about achieving some perfect state of mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's about taking those intentional steps
Okay.
to cultivate a more aware, a more resilient, and a more problem-solving oriented culture.
So it's a journey.
It is a journey.
And any progress you make along that
Any step you take in the right direction.
is a step towards a more mindful and effective organization.
That's a great way to put it.
I'm so excited to hear more about how to actually put these principles into practice.
Me too. And we'll explore that in the next part of our deep dive.
We'll talk about the tangible benefits that organizations can expect to see when they embrace organizational mindfulness.
That's good.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to wrap up this deep dive. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to wrap up our deep dive into organizational mindfulness.
And I'm excited to explore how we can actually put these principles into action.
Me too.
Yeah.
So just to recap, we were talking about this idea of a mindful organization where people are more attuned to what's happening around them, more observant.
Yes, and more open to new information.
Right. So it's not about being stressed or anxious.
No, it's about cultivating a sense of calm awareness.
And this leads to all sorts of benefits, right?
Absolutely.
Like fewer errors.
Fewer errors, definitely.
More innovation.
More innovation, for sure.
And a more engaged workforce.
Exactly.
So it's not just about problem solving in a vacuum.
It's about creating this whole culture of awareness and responsiveness.
So how do we actually make this happen?
Well, it starts with leadership.
Okay.
Leaders need to model mindful behavior.
So they need to walk the talk.
They need to walk the talk, exactly.
And it's not just about individual mindfulness.
No, you need to create systems and structures that support mindfulness throughout the organization.
Give me some examples.
Well, you could have regular reflection sessions
Yeah.
where people can step back and think about what's working and what's not. Exactly.
Okay, what else?
You could have feedback mechanisms.
Okay, so people feel comfortable sharing their observations and their suggestions.
And you can create opportunities for employees to share their ideas.
So you're creating a space where mindfulness can flourish.
You're building it into the DNA of the organization.
This is really powerful stuff.
It is.
But it's important to remember that it's a journey, not a destination.
This is an ongoing process.
You're always striving to be more aware, more resilient, more responsive.
And the more progress you make along that journey, the better equipped you'll be to handle those inevitable challenges that come up.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the basic phases of problem solving to the power of routines and the importance of organizational mindfulness.
We've explored a lot of really valuable concepts.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired
Me too.
to apply these ideas to my own work and to my own life.
It's all about continuous improvement.
So as you head back to your own organizations, think about how you can foster a culture of mindfulness.
Empower your teams to be more creative, more resilient, and more effective problem solvers.
And remember, it's not just about finding the right answers.
It's about creating the right environment,
The right mindset.
and the right culture.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious and keep those problem-solving muscles flexed.